Welcome to the Rebuild Procurement Podcast, the number one procurement podcast in the world, where we dive deep into topics to keep procurement people up to date and ahead of your peers. Subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Alan, I hear Spotify is quite an important podcasting platform now.
Yeah.
So everyone should go there, check it out, and click like wherever you're at. On today's episode, Alan, we're kind of doing a bit of a follow-up here on Elon Musk. So we will be going into 4 of his key drivers within his business for his company. I'm Tom Finn, bringing 15 years on the client side, procurement, finance, and category management experience in large and small cap orgs.
And I'm Alan Veek, a procurement geek on the sell side of the street, and I've assembled a team of superhuman procurement professionals doing managed services at a little company that we call Summit.
All right, Alan. So we've got
right.
4 here. We've got 4 here.
We
put a
few of them together, though. So I think I'm actually going to challenge you. I think we got 3, but we kind of have 4.
Okay. I'm always down for a challenge. You know that, Alan.
Okay.
How about you tease some of these up?
All right. So again, just to review, there was a great podcast that it's called
David Senra, right?
David Senra, Founders Podcast, where he talked about how Elon Musk works, and he did a follow-up. He said it just consumed him. It consumed him. He did a follow-up post where he summarized all of the points that he had gleaned from the biography written about Elon Musk into 31 distilled items. And I read this on X and just absolutely fell in love with it and thought that's great. So we did our first one of our first we did the first podcast episode on this a few weeks ago, and we kind of put a few together, but we covered 3 items that we thought were good in case you need a little repeat. The first was all about hiring for attitude. The second was all about if you're not adding 10% back, then you've not deleted enough. And the third was go to the problem and stay there. When you find an issue, you need to meet with the team every 24 hours until it's resolved. So we talked about that. I think we called the show, and that got us some clickbaity clicks. Idiot Index, because we talked about.
So bring it back.
Index.
Yeah, the Idiot Index.
Yeah, we click. So we talked about the Idiot Index, but now we've picked a few different ones this week. So by way of teeing it up, the first one of the 3 that we're going to talk about is a couple of the ideas together. The leader should be on the front lines. You should be a battlefield general. I love that statement. You should be a battlefield general. If they see the general out on the battlefield, the troops are going to be motivated. Wherever Napoleon was, that's where his armies would do best. So that was the summary of that first one. So it's a general should be on the battlefield.
Yeah, and I mean the thing actually I like about all of these are you can envision them, right? The battlefield general, right? And Elon's very much this. He could be, some would say, overdramatic for certain things, but that's led to a lot of success. And I think something like that, kind of being out there, throwing that sword up, thinking of things that way, no matter what it is, right? If it's just, you can turn many things internal within your organization to mission critical. They should be mission critical. They should be tied to something important for a company outcome. And that's, as a leader in an organization, is something you should be the driver of.
Yeah. The vision, I know that we talked about Napoleon, but I don't have a mental image of Napoleon in my mind.
No, really?
Leading the troops.
You never saw the Joaquin Phoenix movie?
Yeah, no, probably I should. Thank you for the tip. I'll put it on the list.
That's pretty good, yeah.
No, but I'm a big, my whole family is a big fan of Lord of the Rings, and so we watch that every Christmas, all 3.
Is that a Christmas movie, Alan? Is that a Christmas movie? Is that
killing,
it's like hard, right? Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Of course, death and gore. Yeah. Somehow it's become a Christmas movie because it's when the family's all together.
That's
and
nice.
So we do this marathon watching. And I think of Aragorn rallying the troops for the big battle, the final battle at the end, which I think might be called the Battle of the 5 Armies, if I'm not mistaken. And they're at the gates of Mordor, and I think the famous line where he says, "There may be a day where men fail, but it is not this day." He's got his sword up, he's rallying them. That's kind of my image of a battlefield general. And I think that's the whole notion behind this is there are going to be problems, and the leader needs to be there. The leader can't be insulated in an ivory tower, separated from the people who are actually doing the work and doing the fight. It's oftentimes the leader that got them into the trouble, so got them
Oh,
into the
that's
issue.
true. That's true.
I'm
Got to
feeling
lead
that
them out.
particular. Yeah, I'm feeling that particularly strongly right now because we just signed 3 new clients. We took on 4 new scopes of work. One of them's huge, and it should have been our focus. The second one is big, and the third one is small, and the fourth scope of work is so tiny. It's like, why? Why did we do this? So I'm looking at this, and I've thrown my troops into this battle, and things started to go wrong. Luckily, with the huge one, nothing's going wrong. Everything's perfect. But it should be. It's getting the brunt of our focus. The second one had a rocky start, and we're stabilizing. But I don't like a rocky start when I can have a perfect start ever. And I
Sure.
think I would not have had a rocky start at the big one if I hadn't taken on the small one and the tiny one. And so the learning for me in this is going into Q4, end of the year, don't overload your plate. Don't pick up too much at the smorgasbord. I should have focused only on the first 2. So when trouble started on number 2, on the big deal, I just read this and I was like, I'm throwing myself in. And I meet daily with that team to help them to help them and to understand from my point of view what do they need to be able to get their job done. So it's not without cost to me because now I'm unfocused. I'm not doing the other things I should be doing for Summit. I'm on the battlefield fighting alongside my troops. Good news is I've seen it firsthand work, and I've seen that my team feels like I'm supporting them. And I'm very much falling on my sword saying, wow, okay, this is a failure on my part. I should
Whoops.
have
Yeah.
understood this ahead of time. And don't worry, failure is the best teacher. I'm completely going to learn from this.
Yeah, I think within organizations, one thing that when leadership is on the battlefield, there's a lot of internal alignment that needs to happen, called at the executive level. And if you don't know what's going on the battlefield, you're not going to be framing things properly as it goes up, which is really important for the other teams, both on yours and outside yours, the different departments, of making sure that communication's proper and
Mm-hmm.
clear and current. So I think just being
Mm-hmm.
down there with the troops, understanding what's happening is super important. The ones that end up sitting in the ivory tower, those are, you watch the city fall down outside of you, right? So
Yeah.
um
It,
yeah.
and this could be like there's another angle to this as well that I think of, which is, obviously, if you're going to be on the battlefield, that only work if you're going to be a battlefield general, that only works if you've risen through the ranks, right? If you're the battlefield general and you show up and you say, "Oh, this is a sword fight," I'm a CPA. I do the books. I don't know how to fight. Then
Yeah.
it completely falls apart. So one of the things that I try to tell my team, one of the things that I certainly try and share inside my family with my kids who are growing up and growing their career, getting experiences, is it is important to touch every rung of the ladder. It sometimes feels like it would be great to skip the first 3 rungs because I can do that and I don't need to start that low. I don't need to understand how to make the donuts, how to make the widgets. And I would argue, actually, maybe even more importantly, yes, it is. It's important to know all the jobs. You need to know all of those things if you want to be a leader someday so that you can pick up a sword and join the battle.
Yeah, there was it got popular on Twitter. I mean, it happened a few months ago, if not a year. But no shade at McKinsey, but there was the
Shade.
McKinsey the
I'll
McKinsey
shade them.
CEO that joined Starbucks, right?
Right.
Before Brian Nicol joined. It
Yep.
was
Yep.
essentially someone that was. I mean, Starbucks isn't a very complicated business. You can dumb it down, make it simplistic, but there's a lot of stores, there's a lot of people, it becomes complicated quick. And I think the guy's name, what was it? Laxman. Uh, not gonna test out the last name, but Laxman was his first name. Uh, I mean, they lost a lot of
Yep.
enterprise value until Brian Nicol joined. So, and a lot of
Is
things are
is
falling apart.
is what you're saying? You don't think Laxman was a barista ever?
And no, yeah, I don't think so. And I'm
Nope.
not sure if he
Nope.
understood what was going on the field.
I don't think so. And to your point, Nickel, he grew up in retail.
Yeah, I think he
So he
probably started
knew
eating at
retail.
Taco Bell before he joined. He
Yeah.
got like excited
Yeah.
by the by Taco Bell.
That's exactly right. So I do think there's a lot of importance around that notion of if you're going to be on the battlefield, you got to know how to carry your sword. All
Yeah.
right, so that's number one. Number two that we put together from a couple others is also quite interesting. I'll just read it out. Repetition is persuasive. Should I say that again? Repetition is persuasive. I became a broken record on the algorithm. This is Elon talking in his own words. I became a broken record on the algorithm. The algorithm was his, just as a reminder, the algorithm was his prescription for how to make things as efficient as possible. I became a broken record on the algorithm. I think it's helpful to say it again and again to an annoying degree. Keep your entire company committed to a common goal. And so this one resonated with me because we have a particularly powerful vision and mission at Summit Procurement. And almost every team meeting, certainly every large team meeting, I'm always repeating the mantra of our mission and our vision. I want to make sure everybody on the team gets it, and everybody on the team internalizes it. And so it's really interesting for me to read in Elon's own words. It's helpful to say it to an annoying degree because I sometimes feel like I'm a broken record. I sometimes feel like I say it to an annoying degree, but I think it's only going to become a mission and a vision if we do that.
Yeah, I had this boss at one point, and he would call it. It would be for the people on the team. He's like, Tom. I'm not going to use his accent, but it was Tom. Like, this is your mission in life. Is what his thing. It was so seemingly dramatic, but it was very helpful, right? Because when you
Yeah.
have something that everyone can walk towards, or on a company basis, if that gets boiled down to an individual basis, which is very helpful, if you can take company goal and bring it down to the individual level and create a mission in life for somebody is like, I have a bunch of stuff you need to do, but never forget your mission in life is this, right? So if
Yes.
any of those competing priorities are differing, don't forget the mission in life.
Number one. Sorry, you can't tease like that. What was your mission in life according
I
to
mean,
this
it would
categorization?
change at times, right? It would be it would be more to like the important thing, call it whatever important KPI. So it could be
Okay.
like it could be a specific like large negotiation. Like this is all I need you to focus on. This is what I need you to focus on.
Yes.
And if you have competing priorities, let's chat about it.
Yep.
But here's the thing that if you succeed on this, you succeed for me.
I like that a lot. Yeah, there's one of my more senior team members, one of my superhuman procurement professionals who's on my team, Chris Eierman. He and I did a category management training for one of our biggest clients at our previous job. This was probably about 10 years ago now. And man, it was kick ass. It was a great, great training. It was like 50 slides. We covered everything. We gave them a prescriptive way to think about category management, of a way to be a more strategic category manager. What we realized like 4 weeks later, as we were talking with everybody about it was just kind of a jumble in everybody's head because it was 50 slides. We covered a
Yeah.
lot of things and everybody had a hard time understanding, okay, what do I need to be waking up this morning thinking about doing? So
What's my
Chris
mission
and I
in
went to the
life, Alan?
whiteboard.
What's my mission in life?
What's my mission in life? Chris and I went to the whiteboard and we wrote on there key imperatives. Key imperatives. And we said there's a lot of things that you can do as a category manager. We covered most of them in those 50 slides. But here are the 3 things that you must do. You need to do these every single day. So key imperatives, mission in life. I think these are great ways to stay focused on what's most important. And we're trying to develop. We're calling it alternatively a couple things. We're not because we have a mission. We're not calling it mission in life. I'm calling it the mantra, which is
What do you say in the mirror every morning?
yeah. Well, it's kind of
What do you
that, but
sit and
it's
repeat for 20 minutes?
so here's what I give to my team every week as the mantra: touch every intake every day and advance it. So all of us work on kind of the project level. Me in sales, I've got 30 prospects in my pipeline. What's my goal as a salesperson? Touch every one of those prospects every day and advance it. And my team members might be working on contracts or sourcing events or intakes on supplier management side. And so the mantra we're trying to instill in everybody is touch every intake every day and advance it. If you've done that, you've done your job.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3 is just one of them off the list, and it goes like this: have a relentless dedication to questioning every requirement. Now, this one resonated with you particularly, Tom. What comes to mind with this one?
Yeah, I think I'm a big fan. Another saying from my career is constant dissatisfaction with the status quo. So
Yeah.
folks should not be tied to just how things are today. Is how can I improve them? Doesn't have to be everything. You don't need to change everything. Some status quo is okay, and some are more important than others. But you need to look and understand what needs to be changed. And I think this relentless dedication to questioning every requirement is specifically important, and especially important for procurement folks, because so many times you'll get something that gets pushed across your desk, like I need this, I need that. I mean, the 5 whys is a helpful start, right? Like, why do you need this? And then you
Mm-hmm.
boil things down. And do they really need, right? The old was like, was it Cadillac versus whatever, right? Cadillac versus Camry.
Boy.
I'm sure we could choose Maserati versus Camry.
Yes. Yep.
Um, but there's not always a need for the most expensive. You might need maybe the first year, maybe you do need somebody that's fantastic to help set it up. But by year 2, certain things should be different. So it's not always you need the same thing over and over and over again, and it needs to be more and more and more expensive. Requirements cost a lot of money, especially when not revisited. So I do think this is one that a lot of different folks in
Yeah.
the procurement can challenge.
Oof. Yeah, I think this particularly applies to procurement because, I oftentimes try to describe to everybody what we do, and I say the job is not hard; it's just difficult. It's there are many steps to follow and many processes, many workflows, and you always have too much work that you're stuffing through those workflows. So it's you've kind of got two things: you've got inputs and then you got workflows. So you probably can't really change the inputs. As a matter of fact, you're trying to manage more inputs across the course of time, not less. So the one thing that you can control is your workflow. How are we processing the inputs that come in? And if you can simplify your workflow, then you can save time on your overall bucket of work that you're facing. So I think this is huge in procurement. We're full of processes. Oftentimes, some of them that exist from time immemorial, you don't even know where they came from. Why do we do this? Why do we have this requirement? Why do we have this process? It's good to just take the thing apart, break it down to its fundamental pieces, and question every single one of the steps in your process. Do we need to be doing this? If you've got a 9-step sourcing process, guess what? The world's moved on. There are 4 steps now. You don't
Is it
need
4
9
now? Is it
steps.
officially 4?
Ah,
Maybe 5.
I'm
Yeah,
saying it.
there's
I'm
5,
saying
7.
it.
Yeah, there is
Yeah,
now
everybody
1
likes
step.
5,
Yeah,
but you should stretch. You can get to 4.
yeah, yeah. If you're at 5, you can get to 4.
That's right. So I think that there's a lot to be said about questioning requirements, and I like the way you put it. You could always be getting better. That is the notion of continuous improvement, which is one of the big mantras of life. Continuous improvement. You should always be trying to get a little bit better every day. Those improvements compound over the course of time, and before you know it, you'll be a kick-ass sourcing professional.
For sure.
For sure. All right. Well, on behalf of your humble hosts here at the Rebuild Procurement Podcast, we are Tommy Finn, the guy who puts the fin in finance, and your OG in procurement, Alan Veek, hoping that you will make this a powerful and productive week in procurement. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Show me, and you won't hear the word rebuild.